Hi YouTube, this is Senshi Reviews, and I'm here to do another Chronicles of Shannara review. That is based on this season, this book series, and I just have to say this. As far as shows go on MTV, the Shannara Chronicles is probably one of the better shows on MTV. If you are not a book reader, I would say go on ahead and watch it. Because again, it's not a bad show. And as I've said, thought to myself while watching episode 5, 6, and 7 last night, catching up, basically. It could be worse. It could be worse. It could be like Shadowhunters. And I would also like to take this time to say, and I'm watching Shadowhunters too. I'm actually rewatching City of Bones. I bought the movie, and I'm rewatching City of Bones, and I'm kind of going, this was a good movie. Whoa. But anyway, so yeah, Shadowhunters fans, I feel your pain. I get it, I understand, except the problem with Shadowhunters and the problem with this show is that this show doesn't have, is that Shadowhunters you can't say is an actually good show. At least the Shannara Chronicles actually is a good show. But at what cost? As an adaptation. Because that's the problem. Is it a good show? Yes. Is it a terrible adaptation for the Shannara world as a whole? Yes. The lore has been completely rewritten. I said it in my first review that I wasn't entirely sure about where they were going with the lore, and it seems like they were trying to do what they were supposed to do, but there were some things that kind of made me go, no, 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 no. And the other issue that we have, I mean, Eventide Alesidel wasn't supposed to die now. He was supposed to fight at Sarandon. There was supposed to be a big battle of the elven armies. All of this, the Federation, but people who do not read the book, guys, guess what? The Federation doesn't exist for another 500 years after this book. That doesn't happen until the Federation doesn't happen until after, way after the events of this book and Wish Song of Shannara. So, yeah, here's our problem. Here is our big problem that we have with the show. It is not a good adaptation. Game of Thrones, which is up here somewhere. Game of Thrones is a better adaptation than this. Game of Thrones also has better actors than the Shannara Chronicles, and so it's it's so nah. And the writing for the show is so wonky. Because for one thing, guys, you have a book. You have source material. You can take lines from. You can take lines from this book. The source material. You can't alienate the people who made Terry Brooks want to be able to pick this up in the first place. Because I hate to break it to you, you have 20 years, over 20 years. I think this was published in the 80s. Let me look at the publication date. Yeah, let's see. 1982. So, about 40 years. We're getting close to 40 years of a fan base that has grown around these books. And not only that, this is the best book of the series and you're screwing it up. Why would you do that? That's like taking let's take Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Because that is arguably before book 6 and book 7, that was arguably the best book in the series. That's when we really got to see like everything blossom, and that happens in this book. All of the like the real nitty gritty part of the lore of the world of Shannara really gets into some intricate details in these books, and it's this book right here is where it really gets serious. The world gets good and very vital. Now, anyway, in Harry Potter, you have that in The Prisoner of Azkaban. And that's one of my favorite books. I love that book. Sirius Black is one of my favorite characters. Hated that he had to die. But, it's one of my favorite books because, you know, Sirius Black is in it. A very wasted character in my personal opinion, but I'm not the author, so whatever. The Dementors, like the horrors, the other horrors, what I consider the real horrors, were introduced in this book, and that in Prisoner of Azkaban, and they did that with this one. And here's what they did with the Prisoner of Azkaban movie when they did the Harry Potter adaptions: they screwed up the movie. But I still watched the movie because it's a good movie. Now that's pretty much what I'm going to do with the Shannara Chronicles. I'm still going to watch it. I'm probably going to wait a few weeks, marathon the next 3 episodes, and then do a review, do my reviews like that. I think that'll just work out better for me because I'm in college. This is my last semester in college. I'm gearing up for graduation. I got sick last week and kind of the week before, so I actually missed a lot of school. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to be busy. So that's how I'm going to do these reviews. But, well, right now this is more of a rant because I just, oh my gosh. Well, first order of business, I was watching the Shannara Chronicles, and then I was looking at some of the clips from the newer Shadowhunter episodes on YouTube, and I was cringing at Jace. And then I'm watching Shannara Chronicles, and it hit me. I found the new Jace Wayland. I found the perfect Jace Wayland, guys. And I'm sorry he's here. I really wish they didn't do this now, because I think that the guy who's playing Will Almsford would made a very good Jace Wayland. And I honestly do think our Will is definitely wasted in this series. He's a better actor than the other, his other age group leads, for one. And even though I will say, we saw Peck, I think it's Peck. We saw him introduced in the last episode, Breakline, and he's actually a good actor. I can't remember his name, but I know I've seen him places before. I feel like I saw him on Game of Thrones, actually. I don't remember where I saw him. I just know I saw him somewhere, and I was like, this is a good actor. Anyway, so in his age group, though, of the main characters, Will, Eritrea, and Amberly, he's easily the best actor, and he's so wasted. He has good chemistry with everybody else but Amberly and Eritrea. And it's so horrible, and I feel really bad for him because he looks like he's trying so hard to do this. Anyway, so that's my take on Will Almsford. I think he actually needs to be in another series. Granted, I think he'd be wasted on the Shadowhunter series too, because they didn't do it right, but whatever. I'll get into that when I actually catch up to Shadowhunters and finally do my review of that one. Amberly Alesidel, anyone could have played her, I think, and it would have been fine. My problem with her is that she's the whole point of Amberly in this book is her overcoming her fears. Where is that in the show? That was the biggest part of her character. She is a very scared character, and we're not seeing that. It's not even subtle. It's not there. And that's a problem. That is a huge problem. This is part of the reason why I'm saying it's a bad adaptation. It's a good show. If you haven't read the book first, and I've read the book several times, it's one of my favorite Shannara books. Anyway, so you have Amberly's character not being Amberly's character. You have Eritrea. Eritrea, they got her correct in the writing. Her writer, whoever wrote her lines, whoever sat down, figured out her character, and wrote her lines, they did a very good job. There were definitely big time Eritrea mannerisms, scenes, words, things I know she would say in here if the if she wasn't introduced like here and actually, like, seriously, Eritrea doesn't have that big of a part in here. I don't know why they decided to throw her in there and make this sort of Trinity thing. It was always mostly, it was seriously just Will and Amberly. So, I don't know why they did that, other than, I guess, to prolong the series. Whatever. Anyway. But, so, the problem with Eritrea, I said this in my last review, and 3 episodes later, 3 episodes later, I still hold the same opinion. They got a girl who looked like Eritrea. They wrote her lines like Eritrea. They made her not really look like Eritrea, because Eritrea is a very flamboyantly dressed character in the book. But they made her look like how probably Eritrea would look if she was a little bit more rugged. But the actress can't deliver her lines. They're so awkward. Oh my gosh. I had this... Again, in my last review, I said this. Eritrea felt awkward. She just didn't feel right. Well, she doesn't feel right because the actress apparently, I guess she doesn't feel like Eritrea because she can't portray Eritrea very well. They quite literally had to make her look like Eritrea. And all she does is say the lines. She has, like, Eritrea is a very, very confident young woman. And she's very subtle and very devious, and that's part of the reason why with her, the whole her sleeping with Will thing, guys, she didn't need to do that. I'll address the sleeping around thing in later on. But anyway, Eritrea, she's very subtle, and so they'll do some things with her character where they've almost pegged her, and then they do something like that, and I'm just kind of like, I feel like the actress might be confused or something, or she's just not a very good pick for Eritrea anyway. But the writers, for the most part, got Eritrea. For the most part. But the actress doesn't get Eritrea. Now, the other one, Cephalo. I'm happy with Cephalo. I'm happy with, again, Eventine. I just didn't like the fact that he died when he wasn't supposed to. Manx was supposed to kill him. Manx, his most loyal and trusted, his dog. That is the worst betrayal anyone can have, when your dog suddenly decides to attack you and turn into some sort of rage monster. That was the point. And I don't know, you weren't supposed to suspect it. The spy wasn't supposed to be found out now. Everything is happening too fast. They've screwed up with the plot. They're keeping... people are dying. The people who are supposed to die are dying. Spoiler alert, Andor Lesidel in the books is supposed to be king. At the end of the book, like, this end of the book, his dad dies and he becomes king. So Andor Lesidel is supposed to be king. They got that right. It's too soon. Al-Anon. Hey guys, we finally... Oh, break line. We finally got to meet Bremen. We finally got to meet Bremen. Shannara idiots. Shannara Chronicle idiots. You're supposed to go to Hadeshorn. I think that's what it's called. You're supposed to go to a lake where there's a bunch of that is like the opening into the underworld, and Al-Anon is supposed to summon him. Bremen's spirit doesn't come to Al-Anon. And where is this staff? This staff Al-Anon gets? What? He gets a staff from the Elchris, not from Bremen. Ah! See, these aren't even little things, though, because the point of the Elchris is that the staff is supposed to help protect, keep the demon armies weak. That was the point of the Elchris giving Al-Anon the staff. Anyway, but yeah, I guess I just need to reread this again because I didn't want to. I was kind of hoping that it's actually kind of funny because there's a lot of little intricate details from the book that I'm remembering now because, and I haven't read it in 2 years. It's been a while. I've been trying to tackle all of this. But there's a lot of stuff from the book that, like, you know, most people would gloss over upon, like, reading it. And I'm remembering it now because the show's getting it wrong. It's getting it so wrong that I'm just kind of like, ugh. Anyway, but, yeah. At least Crispin died by at least PyCon. At least everybody died at PyCon. The problem was PyCon wasn't supposed to go down like that. PyCon was an actual elven outpost that was supposed to be used. If I remember. Yeah, it was supposed to be used. The elven outpost was slaughtered by the Reaper because the Reaper was there before them. That was PyCon. And I think it was Draywood and PyCon where the Reaper got there first. And then here's another thing I need to address because the show got it wrong again. Will's struggle with the Elfstones. He needs to have more of a struggle because throughout the book he can't even use them. He can't use them at all. He can't summon the magic. He, like, at Cephalos camp, he summons the magic. At, with the Reaper, at PyCon, he manages to summon the magic, but he can't. And he just can't summon the magic anymore. And then he has this magic block throughout the entire book that is a problem, and he's trying to make sure that he can keep Amberly safe. Again, this is where they needed to be 2 and not 3. But, yeah, it's just, ugh. And then finally, at the Wilderun, that's when he finally can use the Elfstones again. That's when it works. And they screwed it up. I really don't know why they keep screwing it up. Why? They didn't have to. The book was fine. You have source material. I mean, heck, even Game of Thrones at least keeps the key major scenes. They change things, yes, but they keep key major scenes. Like, let's go off on another tangent here. Let's compare how Game of Thrones does things with Sansa to how things are done in the show with pretty much everyone. Sansa took over Jane Poole's plot line. Her plot line happened in the book. And they're being consistent with that. Even though it's Sansa instead of Jane Poole. They're not doing that in Shannara Chronicles. They have used nothing from the book. Nothing has been used from the book. There are no key scenes. There are no nothing. Like, the big scenes in the book have been overlooked. And now I have seen certain people in the comment section that say, well, I heard the book wasn't as good as the TV show. Really? this is not the TV show is not as good as the book. The TV show is not as good as the book. I'm sorry. There's just too much, there's too much MTV in it. That's where I can say it. There's too much MTV in the Shannara Chronicles. Now, is it the best show on MTV? Yes. Is it a relatively good show? Yeah. Once Upon a Time's better. It is. Once Upon a Time, I'm hoping it's going to be really good when it comes back in March, because they're descending into Hades. They're really getting into some actual folklore, and I love that. I love that Once Upon a Time's finally getting into folklore. Good job, Once Upon a Time. You're doing something that is not Disney related. Good job. And they kind of did that with the Ice Queen thing, too. But anyway, yeah, you can kind of see how disappointed I am in this TV show when I'm saying, like, I like Once Upon a Time, but I don't follow it religiously. I catch up periodically. That is how disappointed I am in this TV show, because there's no excuse for this. There's no excuse when you have source material to pull from. When you have scenes already written for you, you just have to take the dialogue and take some of the... When you have something already written for you, why would you rewrite it? This would translate fine on a screen. Very fine. It's not that hard. There is, maybe there's just not enough magic in here. I don't know. They put a lot of magic in here. A lot more magic in the show than that's supposed to be. Anyway. Like I said, bad adaptation, okay show. I'm still gonna watch it. I'm not entirely sure if... They might be able to wrangle a season 2 out of this, which I'm guessing they're going to do Wish Song of Shannara. I don't know how at this point, because they're not addressed... There's so much about Will that they're not addressing that would be very, very... needed in the Wish Song. And that whole thing about, yeah, you have there's another druid in the Four Lands kind of thing, with what Bremen said to Alanon. That didn't happen until Wish Song. And in Wish Song is about Will Almsford's kids. So, spoiler alert, if you're wondering what Season 2 is going to be about, I already know. I don't know how they're going to do it, because they've screwed up so much of the lore here. I don't know how they're going to do Wish Song. And if you read Wish Song, if you read this book and Wish Song, and you should probably read Sword too, so you can really see how much, like, they keep mentioning the Warlock Lord. You realize the Warlock Lord's only mentioned, like, briefly at the beginning of the book? Yeah. Yeah. He's not that important in the book. Okay, just so you know, there's no Sword of the Warlock Lord. There isn't. It's not in here. But again, yeah. I don't know what they're going to do, because they've screwed up so much of the lore. It's like the Aragon movie. There we go, and I like the Aragon movie. It's a good movie, bad adaptation. Good movie. I don't know how they're going to do a sequel. I don't know how they're going to do Season 2 without rewriting everything. And I guess, yeah, going ahead and rewrite everything, but none of the fans of the book aren't going to we're just not going to watch it. If Season 2 does what Season 1 does, we're just going to say, screw this. You can't get this right. We're not watching this. And then and just so you know, people, you lose the fan base. Those of you who like the show and haven't read the books, you lose us. You will not get a Season 2. You won't even get a Season 3. So you need to make sure that you read the books, or at least catch up on what's going on, and then go make sure the showrunners, leave your reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Talk to the people. Make your Make sure they know, hey, look, make them happy. We want more of the show. Because I would like something good to watch. This is not good to watch. I mean, really, it's not the best thing in the world. And if I wanted, again, I don't want to watch something that I like that is being butchered. I don't even watch the third Harry Potter movie because of that. I liked it. I just didn't like it as an adaptation. And that's what I'm saying here. I like it, just not as an adaptation. And it's a very disappointing show. It really is. Anyway, so with all of my tangents on all of the other shows that I'm hoping to see, yeah, it's kind of disappointing. And I was fervently hoping MTV wasn't going to MTV everything up, but whatever. Anyway, so I'll review, in 3 more weeks, I'll review the next Shannara Chronicles episodes. Stay tuned for my Shadowhunters review, whenever I manage to finish watching it. Anyway, toodles.